Hi, boys and girls. Today we're going to talk about finding factors. Please pause the video and write this title on the top of your notebook. Okay, let's start with the number 12. Now we know that if we are ever finding multiples, we count by 12s. So my multiples for 12 would be 12, 24, 36, etc. Multiples go on forever. You would never be able to write all the multiples of 12. However, you can write all the factors of 12 because the factors of 12 mean the numbers that I can multiply together to get to 12. Okay, so let's write 12 in your notebook. And then let's think about all the ways that I can get to 12. Well, I know that 1 times any number is going to give me that number. So 1 times 12 equals 12. I know that. I also can see that 12 is an even number because there is a 2 in the ones place. That means that 12 can be split into 2 equal groups. So I know that 2 is a factor. Now I have to think of the partner for 2. And I know that 2 times 6 is going to give me 12. So 6 is also a factor. Now, I like to go in order because that will help me make sure I don't miss any numbers. So if I start with 1 and then I go to 2, I know my next number is 3. And I think to myself, is 3 a factor of 4? Well, yes, because if I took things and put them into 3 equal groups and I counted to 12, that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, I know that I can have 4 in each group. So 3 and 4 are both factors of 12. Now, if I continue to go in order, I did 1, 2, 3, my next number would be 4. But actually, I already have it written down. That means that I'm done. As soon as you go to the next number and you already have it, that's the beauty of going in order. You know if you found all the factors of 12. Okay, but we can't leave our factors looking like this. We have to write them out in number order. That's how you're always going to write down your factors. So you can do the multiplication, and that can help you make sure you get them all. But now we're going to list them. So if you have those facts, go underneath it or even next to it. I'm going to go right over here, and I'm going to put 12 and a colon. And I'm going to list them in number order with commas separating them. So I know I have 1, 2, 3. So I did my whole first column. And then I have to start over here and go up. And I have 4, 6, 12. The cool thing is, when you look at factors, almost always they should all have a partner. So 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. And you're going to see they make a little bit of a rainbow. Okay, and that's how you know that you got them all and that each one has a partner, except for a few exceptions that we're going to take a look at today. Let's try another one. It's a little bit bigger. So we're doing the number 24. Can you write down the number 24 in your notebook? And we're going to think about all the ways we can make 24. Again, we're going to start at 1 because I always know that 1 is going to be a factor. So 1 times what is 24? My answer is 24. I know those two right away. Again, I have an even number. That means that 2 is definitely a factor. Now, hopefully you've been studying your 12 facts and you know that 24 is a multiple of 12 because 12 times 2 is 24. If I didn't know that, let's say 24 is too big of a number, but I know that it can be divided into 2 equal groups, then you know what? I might do 2 equal groups, and I might start counting. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Because anytime I don't know how to do a division or a multiplication, I can always draw a picture. And if I count my lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that means that there's 12 in each circle. 24 divided by 2 is 12. Okay, my next factor, I'm going to go right down the line, and I'm going to think to myself, how about the number 3? Can I take 24 and divide it into 3 equal groups? And this is where your multiplication factors are so important, because hopefully you knew right away that you can, because 3 times 8 equals 24. Okay, let's try 4. Again, this is where your facts really help you, because if you know your facts, you know that 4 times 6 equals 24, and you don't have to do any of the work like I did over here. Okay, the next number would be 5. Now, I think last year you learned some special rules about all your multiples of 5, and that is that they all end in a 0 or a 5. So because this ends in a 4, I know that 5 cannot be a factor, because if I count by 5, I'm never going to say 24. My next number would be 6, and look, I already wrote it down, so that means that I am done. Now we have to put them in order. So in your notebook, write down 24 colon, and then list all the factors in order. This one has a lot of factors. Why don't you pause the video and try to do the rainbow to make sure that they all have a neighbor. All right, so you should see that each one has a partner. We're going to try one that is a little bit harder. Okay, so let's write 30 in our notebook. And we know we're off to an easy start because we always know that we can do 1 times that number, and it's going to give us our first problem. I'm looking at this number, and there's a 0 in the 1 place, which means it is even. So 2 is a factor. Now this is another one of those times where you might have to figure out what times 2 equals 30. Now if you didn't want to draw all those lines like I did in the last problem, you can also think about division, because you know you have to add a number twice to get to 30. Well, I know that 12 plus 12 is 24. So I know I have to go bigger than 24. Let's try 14. Well, 14 plus 14 is 28. So I need to go just a little bit higher, and I'm going to try 15. Now, some of you may have already known this. 15 plus 15 equals 30. So that means that 2 times 15 equals 30. Sometimes you might have to do a little work like this to figure out your factors. Okay, now my next number is 3. Again, you might not know this fact, but you might start to think about it and recognize that a really easy fact is 3 times 10 equals 30. Because 30 is a multiple of 10. If I count 10, 20, 30, I know that it took 3 10s to get there. So 3 times 10 is, both of those are factors of 30. Now 4, if I count by 4, I know that 4 times 7 is 28. And 4 times 8 is 32. So that does not work because I missed the number. 5, well, we talked about this 0 in the 1's place. I know that 5 is a factor because my fact of 5 times 6. And guess what? My next number would be 6, and I already wrote it down, so I'm done. I want you to pause the video, write down 30 in your notebook, and then write down all the factors in order. Okay, you should have 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 10, 15, and 30. Okay, let's try 16. I talked about how there's going to be some special numbers where the rainbow doesn't work, and this is one of them. So I'm going to write 16 down, and we're going to start with our 1 times something fact, and I know that is 1 times 16. Then I'm going to go to 2, and I know 16 is even, so if I think to myself 2 times what equals 16, or if I count by 2's, I know that it's 2 times 8. My next number would be 3. Well, if I listed my 3 facts, I know that 3 times 5 is 15, and 3 times 6 is 18. So there's no 16 in between those, so 3 is not a factor. But 4 is. And 4 is a special factor because we multiply it by itself. If you ever have a fact where you multiply the number by itself, that means you're done. It's just like if the number is already written there. So here are all my factors. When I write them out in my notebook, I'm not going to write 4 twice because there's only one factor of 4. So I'm going to write them as 1, 2, 4, 8, 16. And this is where my rainbow doesn't work, and I bet you can see why. I match 1 and 16, and 2 and 8, 4 is by itself because the other partner is 4, but we're not going to write it twice. So there are some special numbers where there is a middle number that is all by itself, and that's okay. I want you to pause the video, write these 4 numbers in your notebook, do all the work to figure out all your factors, and then play back the video and see if you got those 4 correct. My factors for 5 are only 1 and 5. There's no other way to make 5. My factors for 10 are 1, 2, 5, and 10. My factors for 27 are 1, 3, 9, and 27. You never want to forget about 3 times 9. And then my factors for 32, that was a little bit trickier. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. The 2 times the 16 was the tricky one because you might not have known that. Okay, great job learning factors.